Welcome to our deep dive into AI in 2025. You've provided us with some pretty interesting material here. It's from Gustavo Entrala, who helps companies kind of see their future. And let me tell you, he paints a pretty wild picture. Expert speaker, you ready to kind of like break this down with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do
By
it.
the end of this deep dive, you'll not only know what's coming, but like why it matters and how it could impact your life.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Well, what I find so interesting is that, Entrala connects all these trends to the larger economic and political landscape. So it's not just about the technology. It's really about the forces shaping its development and adoption.
Right. He really grounds these AI trends in like a real-world context. And he kicks things off with what he calls the AI gold rush. Are you ready for this? Almost $300 billion was invested in Nvidia chips alone in 2024. That's almost a GDP of some entire nations.
I know it's a staggering figure, and it just highlights the scale of this AI arms race. Companies are betting big on AI, and they're willing to put their money where their algorithms are.
Yeah, and that investment is predicted to double in 2025. But here's the thing, all this AI isn't just going to run on hopes and dreams. It needs energy, a lot of energy.
Yeah, AI is power hungry. There's no doubt about it. Just a single ChatGPT query can guzzle 10 times more energy than a Google search. And those massive data centers that house all this AI, those consume as much electricity as like a city of 50,000 people.
So we're talking about a potential energy crisis here. Is the grid even ready for this AI explosion?
That's the question. Antrala calls it a race against the grid, and companies are getting pretty creative in trying to secure their power supply. Some are even turning to nuclear power. Microsoft is actually reviving a plant near 3 Mile Island. Can you believe that? And Amazon is investing in nuclear-powered data centers.
Nuclear power for AI. That's a pretty drastic solution. It makes you wonder if this AI gold rush might hit an energy wall sooner than we think. But what about the companies making those powerful AI chips? Will Nvidia, the current king of AI chips, be able to stay on top?
Well, there's some serious contenders emerging. AMD is making big strides. Amazon has its own Trinium chips. And Apple is developing custom silicon for AI. The market's kind of starting to get a little nervous. Nvidia's stock growth has been slowing down, which suggests that investors are anticipating a much more competitive landscape.
So it's not a guaranteed win for Nvidia. This AI chip race is just getting started. But, okay, we've talked about the big investments and the energy problem, but how does this all actually impact you? How will AI show up in your daily life? Well, Entrala says to get ready for AI everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, think about it. AI is breaking free from those massive data centers and moving into every device you use, your smartwatch, your phone, even your car. And this is all thanks to a breakthrough technology called latent consistency models, or LCMs. They allow for real-time AI interaction, which is a complete game changer.
So no more waiting around for AI to process something. It'll be like having a superpowered sidekick built into all our devices.
Yeah.
What kind of things are we talking about here?
Well, imagine an AI-powered text editor that composes emails for you on the fly, or a photo app that retouches your images in real time, or a travel assistant that automatically generates highlight reels from your vacation videos. It's all about seamless integration and instantaneous results.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. But it also raises some questions. Isn't there a risk of becoming too reliant on AI? What happens if we lose control?
Well, those are valid concerns and ones that we need to address as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. It's a balancing act between leveraging the power of AI and maintaining our own autonomy.
So AI is going to be everywhere, and it's going to be fast. But it gets even more personal than that. Entrala dives into the concept of AI. He asks, could AI become a personalized extension of our consciousness?
It's a thought-provoking idea, isn't it?
Mhm.
AI is moving beyond simply collecting data. It's starting to analyze our entire digital footprint, everything we say, do, and choose online. This allows AI to understand us on a much deeper level, almost like it's analyzing our digital soul.
So AI, as like a personal therapist, I can see it now pouring my heart out to my AI about my bad day, and it's suggesting meditation apps and breathing exercises.
Well, maybe not exactly therapy, but AI companions could act as sounding boards, helping us navigate relationships, make decisions, and even manage our emotional well-being. Imagine an AI journaling app that analyzes your entries and provides personalized feedback, or an AI coach that helps you improve your communication style based on your personality.
That's fascinating, but also a little creepy, right? Is it really a good idea to have AI digging around in our deepest thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, it's a valid concern. As AI becomes more personalized, we need to be mindful of the ethical implications and ensure that our privacy and autonomy are protected. But on the flip side, AI could also unlock incredible potential for personal growth and self-discovery.
Okay, so we've got AI everywhere. It's getting to know us deeply. But how are we actually going to interact with it? Typing commands into a chat box doesn't exactly scream future.
I agree. And Trellis says the chat box is dead. In 2025, we'll see a major interface revolution. AI is moving beyond text-based interactions to more intuitive and engaging interfaces.
So what does that look like? Less typing, more mind reading.
Think about AI providing insights through alerts and suggestions, anticipating your next move before you even ask. It's about seamless integration and proactive assistance, not just responding to commands.
That sounds pretty amazing. But if AI is doing all the heavy lifting, what's left for us humans to do?
It's not about AI replacing us, it's about augmenting our capabilities. We'll move from data entry to oversight and approval, focusing on the bigger picture while AI handles the details.
So it's a shift in roles, not a complete takeover. But speaking of shaking things up, Entrala has a prediction that might ruffle a few feathers in Silicon Valley. He says 2025 could be the year Google Search finally gets dethroned.
It's a bold prediction considering Google Search is a $200 billion behemoth, but the rise of specialized AI-powered search engines is making things interesting.
But is AI search really that much better? What makes you think it can topple the king, Google?
Well, AI search can handle those complex, nuanced queries that often leave Google scratching its head. It understands your intent better and provides more relevant results. Think about it. The average AI query is 3 times longer than a typical Google search. People are asking more complex questions, and AI is rising to the challenge.
So it's not just about finding information, it's about understanding it. So who are the contenders looking to steal Google's crown?
We've got Perplexity, which is growing at a mind-blowing 25% per month. Then there's ChatGPT with its massive user base and its newly integrated web search function. Even Meta and X, formerly Twitter, are jumping into the ring.
Wow, it's going to be a battle of the titans. But this AI shakeup isn't just happening in the tech world. Politics plays a role too. Entrala throws in a wild card, Trump's return to the White House. How might that impact AI and crypto?
That's a great question, and one with far-reaching implications. We can expect a push for deregulation. Trump will likely roll back restrictions on AI development, which could lead to both rapid innovation and some potentially serious ethical concerns. It's a double-edged sword.
And what about crypto? Will Trump's fondness for Bitcoin lead to a crypto resurgence?
It's certainly possible Trump sees cryptocurrencies, especially stablecoins, as a more efficient and cost-effective alternative to traditional payment systems, particularly for global transactions. This could potentially disrupt the credit card industry as we know it.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Entrala highlights the concept of asset tokenization and its potential to completely revolutionize how we think about ownership and value.
Imagine turning anything into a digital stock. Your house, a piece of art, even your data could become a tradable asset. Tokenization allows for the creation of digital representations of real-world assets, which can then be traded and exchanged on blockchain platforms. It's a concept that could change the game entirely.
Okay, so AI is changing everything from how we search for information to how we own assets. And with Trump back in the White House, the landscape is even more unpredictable. But is there anything AI can't do? Well, according to Entrala, get ready for the video revolution.
He predicts that AI-generated video is poised to explode in 2025. And while it's still in its early stages, the potential is mind-blowing. We're seeing a trend toward specialized models. AI video generators trained for specific applications like creating hyper-realistic 3D avatars, generating seamless background imagery for video production, or even producing entire marketing campaigns.
So basically, we're all going to have our own personal Hollywood studios at our fingertips. What will that even look like?
Well, imagine a world where anyone with a camera and a computer can create professional quality videos complete with studio-grade sound and lighting. That's the power of AI-generated video. And then there's this mind-bending concept called bio-interactive storytelling, where AI generates entire games and 3D environments in real time, blurring the lines between film and video games.
That's incredible. But it also raises some questions about the future of content creation. If anyone can create a high-quality video, what happens to professional filmmakers and video editors?
It's a valid concern. As AI democratizes video creation, we'll likely see a shift in the industry. Some jobs may become obsolete, but new opportunities will emerge. It's about adapting to the changing landscape and embracing the creative possibilities that AI unlocks.
Okay, so AI is transforming how we create and consume video. But what about those industries that haven't quite caught up with the digital age? Entrala points out that many critical systems still rely on ancient legacy systems and outdated programming languages like COBOL.
You might not have heard of COBOL, but it runs a lot of systems you use every day. banking, travel, even government services. And these systems are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain and update. It's like trying to keep a vintage car running in a world of self-driving vehicles.
So what's the solution? Are we doomed to live with these creaky, outdated systems forever?
Not necessarily. Entrala introduces the concept of AI rewriting legacy software. Imagine an AI that learns how these old systems work and gradually replaces them with modern, efficient code without disrupting essential services. It's like giving these old systems a much-needed brain transplant.
So instead of trying to find programmers who still know COBOL, we can let AI handle the upgrade. That sounds like a much better plan. And are there companies already doing this?
Absolutely. Entrala mentions a company called Mechanical Ord that specializes in this area. I'll make sure to include a link in the show notes for you. This is a huge opportunity for industries like banking and airlines to get ahead of the curve and modernize their systems.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just about creating new things, it's about revitalizing the old, breathing new life into those systems that are essential to our daily lives. So we've got AI modernizing legacy systems, revolutionizing video, and challenging Google. What else is it shaking up?
Well, Entrala says AI is also transforming essential business applications like HR systems, customer relationship management, CRM, and other systems of record. These are the backbone of many businesses, but they're often clunky and inefficient.
So we're talking about those software programs that everyone complains about.
Yeah.
The ones that are slow, confusing, and seem to be designed to make your life harder.
Exactly. But AI is being used to reimagine these core systems, making them more efficient, intuitive, and insightful. It's about paving the way for a more streamlined and data-driven future of business operations.
And which companies are leading the charge in this enterprise software revolution?
Entrala highlights companies like Karna, which are using AI to overhaul their core software, and 8090, which is building powerful new versions of enterprise software that could challenge established players like SAP and Salesforce. It's a pretty exciting time to be in the enterprise software space.
So the enterprise software landscape is getting a serious AI makeover. But it's not just about making existing systems better. It's about a fundamental shift in what AI can do. And Tralla predicts a move from those large language models, the LLMs, to what he calls large action models, or LAMs.
You've probably heard a lot about those AI chatbots like ChatGPT. Those are LLMs. They're great at understanding and generating language. But LAMs are their action-oriented cousins. They don't just talk, they DO. They can understand context, make decisions, and even execute actions based on those decisions.
Okay, so give me an example. How would a LAM actually work in the real world?
Imagine you're booking a trip to the US. Your AI assistant, powered by NLAM, could automatically suggest notifying your contacts in those cities, organizing meetings, preparing relevant documents, and even recommending things to do based on your preferences. It's about moving beyond passive assistance to proactive action.
Wow, that's a lot more than just booking a flight in a hotel. It's like having a personal assistant who can anticipate your every need. But is this really happening, or is this still science fiction?
Believe it or not, this is already happening in the crypto world. There are bots like Truth Terminal that manage portfolios of cryptocurrencies and make investment decisions autonomously.
So AI is managing money and making decisions. It's a glimpse into a future where AI is deeply integrated into our lives, helping us manage our finances, our schedules, and even hiring people to complete tasks on our behalf. It's a lot to process.
It is, and it raises some important questions about the role of humans in an increasingly automated world. But that's a conversation for another time. Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of AI. In part 1, we unpacked those 10 big AI trends predicted for 2025. Everything from the AI gold rush to the rise of AI-generated video and those personalized AI companions.
It was a wild ride, wasn't it? And it seems like AI is poised to impact just about every aspect of our lives. But as we move deeper into this AI-driven future, there are some potential pitfalls we need to consider.
You're absolutely right. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. AI is no exception. As AI becomes more sophisticated and integrated into our lives, we need to think carefully about its potential downsides.
So let's talk about those potential downsides. What are some of the unintended consequences we might face as AI continues to evolve?
Well, one concern that often comes up is the impact of AI on jobs. As AI systems become more capable, many experts worry that they will displace human workers, leading to widespread unemployment and social unrest. It's a valid concern and one we need to address proactively.
So are we talking about robots taking over the world and leaving us all jobless? Is it time to start learning how to, fix those robots just to stay employed?
Well, it's not quite that dramatic. Remember, AI is a tool. It can be used to automate tasks, but it can also create new opportunities. Think about it this way. AI could free us from those repetitive, mundane tasks, allowing us to focus on more creative and strategic work. It's about using AI to enhance human capabilities, not replace them entirely.
Okay, so it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and the humans working together. But how do we ensure that happens? How do we prepare for this shift in the job market?
Well, it's about adaptation and lifelong learning. We need to equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered world. This means investing in education and training programs that focus on areas like critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. The skills that AI can't replicate.
So it's not just about learning how to code, it's about learning how to think. But even with the right skills, there's still the question of control. How do we ensure that AI remains a tool that WE control rather than the other way around?
Yeah, that's where things get a bit tricky. As AI systems become more complex, it's becoming increasingly difficult to understand how they work and why they make the decisions they do. This lack of transparency, what some call the black box problem, is a real concern.
It's like trusting a magic 8 ball to make important decisions. You get an answer, but you have no idea how it arrived at that answer. And that can be a problem, especially when AI is used in high-stakes situations.
Exactly. Think about AI being used in healthcare to diagnose diseases or in finance to make investment decisions. We need to be able to understand the reasoning behind those decisions to ensure that they are fair, unbiased, and ultimately beneficial.
So how do we make AI more transparent? Do we need to force those AI developers to reveal their secret algorithms?
Well, it's not about forcing anyone to spill their secrets. It's about developing what's called explainable AI systems that can provide insights into their decision-making processes. Imagine an AI system that can not only give you a diagnosis, but also explain the factors it considered and the logic it used to arrive at that diagnosis.
That would certainly make me feel more comfortable trusting an AI doctor.
Hmm.
But transparency is just one piece of the puzzle. There's also the question of unintended consequences. We can't always predict how AI will be used or what impact it will have on society.
That's true. Think about the potential for AI to be used for surveillance or to manipulate people. It's crucial to establish ethical guidelines and regulations to ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of humanity.
So we're talking about setting boundaries for AI, making sure it doesn't cross those ethical lines. But who gets to draw those lines, and how do we enforce those boundaries in a world where technology is constantly evolving?
That's a complex issue. It requires a collaborative effort between governments, industry leaders, ethicists, and the public.
Hmm.
We need to have a robust public conversation about the ethical implications of AI and develop regulations that promote fairness, transparency, and accountability. It's not an easy task, but it's essential if we want to shape a future where AI benefits everyone.
It sounds like navigating this AI-driven future is going to require a whole lot of foresight and a willingness to adapt. We need to be proactive, not reactive in how we approach these challenges. But at the end of the day, it's all about the human element, isn't it?
Absolutely. Amidst all this talk about algorithms, data, and regulation, it's easy to forget that AI is ultimately a tool created by humans for humans. The choices we make today will determine the kind of future we create.
So what can we do as individuals to ensure that AI is used for good? Do we need to become tech experts to have a voice in this conversation?
It's not about becoming a tech expert. It's about becoming an informed citizen. Educate yourself about AI, its potential benefits and risks, and the ethical considerations involved. Engage in discussions, ask questions, and hold those developing and deploying AI systems accountable.
It's about being aware and being involved.
Yeah.
We can't just sit back and let technology dictate our future. We need to actively shape it. But with all these potential pitfalls, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Is there anything about this AI future that gives you hope?
Absolutely. I believe AI has the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to healthcare to poverty. It's a powerful tool that can be used to create a more just equitable and sustainable world.
So it's not all doom and gloom. There's a light at the end of the algorithm tunnel.
Exactly. But realizing that potential requires us to be thoughtful, proactive, and above all, optimistic. We need to approach AI with a sense of wonder and a commitment to using it for good.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides of AI. But what about solutions? What can we do to mitigate these risks and ensure that AI is used ethically and responsibly?
Well, that's a topic for our final part. Stay tuned as we explore some strategies for navigating this complex and exciting new world.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into AI in 2025. We've covered a lot of ground, from those exciting possibilities to the potential AI pitfalls, the ones that keep us up at night. Expert speaker, we've talked about the challenges, but what about solutions? How do we make sure this AI future is one we can all thrive in?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we navigate this uncharted territory? Well, there's no magic bullet. But there are some strategies we can use, both individually and as a society, to shape this AI revolution in a positive direction.
Okay, so let's start with the individual. What can we each do to prepare for this AI-driven world? Should we all be rushing out to learn how to code?
Well, learning to code is definitely a valuable skill in the age of AI, but it's not the only answer. The most important thing is to embrace lifelong learning. AI is constantly evolving, which means our skills need to evolve too. Be curious, experiment with new tools, and be open to learning new things throughout your life.
So it's about staying adaptable and keeping our minds sharp.
Hmm.
But what about those of us who aren't naturally tech-savvy? Do we just get left behind?
No, not at all. You don't need to be a programmer to thrive in an AI-driven world. The key is to stay informed. Read books and articles, attend webinars, listen to podcasts like this one. Anything that helps you understand the basics of AI, its potential impact, and the ethical considerations involved.
So staying informed is power. Makes sense. But what about on a larger scale? What needs to happen at a societal level to make sure AI benefits everyone?
Right, that's where things get a bit more complex. We need a multi-pronged approach involving governments, businesses, and individuals working together. Regulation is going to play a key role here. We need clear guidelines and standards to ensure that AI is developed and used ethically and responsibly.
But we've also talked about how too much regulation can stifle innovation. How do we strike that balance? It seems like a delicate dance.
It is a delicate dance, you're right. We need regulations that are flexible enough to keep up with the rapid pace of AI development, but also strong enough to protect us from potential harm. This is where collaboration is absolutely crucial.
So we need everyone at the table, policymakers, tech companies, ethicists, and the public, to come together and figure out the best way forward.
Exactly. And transparency is going to be a key part of that conversation. We need to make sure that AI systems are explainable, that we can understand how they work and why they make the decisions they do. This is especially important when AI is being used in areas like healthcare finance or criminal justice, where the stakes are high.
So it's about lifting the curtain on AI, making sure it's not operating in a black box. But transparency alone isn't enough. We also need to address the issue of bias. How do we prevent AI systems from perpetuating or even amplifying existing inequalities?
That's a good point. That's where diversity and inclusion come in. We need to make sure that the teams developing and testing AI systems are representative of the populations they are intended to serve. We need diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences to ensure that AI is built for everyone, not just a select few.
So it's about making sure that AI reflects the diversity of humanity. But there's another piece of the puzzle here, isn't there? Education.
Absolutely. We need to prepare future generations to live and work in an AI-driven world. This means equipping them not just with technical skills, but also with critical thinking skills, ethical reasoning, and a deep understanding of the social and cultural implications of AI.
So we're not just teaching kids how to code. We're teaching them how to think critically about technology and its impact on society. That seems like a pretty tall order.
It is a tall order, but it's an essential one. We need to empower young people to be responsible stewards of AI to shape it into a force for good in the world.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. It sounds like navigating this AI revolution successfully is going to require a whole-of-society approach. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the choices we make, the values we prioritize, and the future we envision.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This isn't just a technological challenge, it's a human challenge. It's about who we are, what we believe in, and what kind of world we want to create.
It's about taking control of our destiny, even as technology continues to evolve at a dizzying pace. As we wrap up our deep dive into AI in 2025, I'm left with a mix of excitement and a healthy dose of caution. AI has the potential to transform our world in profound ways, but it's up to us to make sure the transformation is a positive one.
I completely agree. And the good news is we're not powerless in this process.
Well,
We have the ability to shape the future of AI, but it requires us to be informed, engaged, and most importantly, to have those conversations that help us navigate this uncharted territory together.
And on that note, we want to hear from you, our listeners. What are your thoughts on the future of AI? What excites you? What concerns you? Share your perspectives, and let's keep this conversation going. Because the future of AI isn't something that's happening to us, it's something we're creating together.